All right, Kepster. So we're going to go ahead and begin with our Unit 3 Quiz 1 review. Happy Friday. As you know, we'll be taking a quiz today. So this is going to be kind of our review to get you prepared for that quiz. A lot of the stuff that I'm going to go over today is things that we have had some, I don't want to say trouble, but we've had some misconceptions on, not fully understanding how it works. So we're going to take the time today to actually go over some of these things that you will be seeing in your quiz today. As you can see, it is Unit 3, Quiz 1. All right, so the first thing that we learned this whole entire unit is exponents. We understood that exponents represent repeated multiplication, but the one thing that I would see quite often when I was looking at your work is that I would see students take this exponent, 4 to the 5th power, and decide that it meant 4 times 5. Now remember, if they wanted to show 4 times 5, they would just show this. Or they would show it in the million different ways that we know we can represent multiplication. Now, because an exponent isn't this, and if they wanted to show multiplication in this sense, they would just show it as you see on my screen. We need to understand that when it comes to exponents, they mean something different. And in this case, we know that we can take an exponent where we have our base, here's our base, and our exponent. Our base is a number that's going to be repeated, and our exponent tells me how many times I'm multiplying my base to itself. So in a sense, an exponent is repeated multiplication. So 4 to the 5th power is 4 times 4 times 4 times 4 times 4. Notice that my base is a number that repeats. My 4 repeats. My 5 tells me how many times I need to multiply. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's how it works. And then for you to actually evaluate it, you actually have to do your math and multiply 4 times 4 times 4 times 4. All right, let's go and look at some examples right now. So here I have 5 to the 3rd power. I know that what this actually means is not 5 times 3. It means 5 times 5 times 5. Now for me to solve, I got to do my math. 5 times 5 is 25. Bring down my other 5 I need to multiply. 25 times 5 is 125. So 5 to the 3rd power equals 125. Let's go to the next one. 2 to the 1st power. Well, I know that the 2 is my base and the 1 is my exponent. It tells me how many times to multiply it to itself. So that means it's just 2. There is nothing more. I only repeats one time. So here it is, repeating one time. So my answer 2 to the 1st power is 2. And one thing that we have covered that you probably don't remember or haven't seen in a while is anything to the 0 power will always equal 1. 3 to the 0 power equals 1. It could also be 100 to the 0 power will also equal 1. So anything to the 0 power equals 1. Anything to the 1st power is just the number itself. And then as you get to higher powers, 2 and more, we need to do repeated multiplication, where our base is a number that repeats. The exponent tells me how many times that number needs to actually repeat. You will be seeing this in your work today, in your quiz, or not work. All right, let's go over the next thing. So the next kind of major thing that we need to really go over is our understanding of order of operations. Order of operations, this is something that we're going to continue using, you're going to continue using, we're going to continue practicing, but we just want to go briefly through it and remember how we use it in order to have a better understanding of how this works. So let's go through it. So we know that there is an order that we want to do our math, and it's based on if it appears in our expressions. If there's a grouping, I'm going to do our groupings first. If there's an exponent, I'm going to do that next. If there's multiplication and division, I want to do that third, and then addition, subtraction, do that last. We reference our order of operations to determine if I need to do that first. I need to see you referencing, when I say reference, going back and looking at this to determine if I need to do this first or what to do first. Give me 1 second. Sorry, I had to sneeze there, and I did not want to sneeze on camera. So with that being said, I see my expression as a whole here. The first thing I want to ask myself is, do I see any groupings? Do I see any parentheses? Do I see any brackets? Do I see any braces? And in this case, I do. I see this parentheses right here. We're going to pretend like this is an expression by itself. Right now, I do not have to worry about anything over here. Okay? I do not have to worry about that. I just need to worry about what's in my parentheses. So I want to go ahead and do the math, and I want to go ahead and go through my order operations again. I'm going to treat this as a new expression on its own. In this parentheses, do I have any groupings? I do not. Do I have any exponents? I don't see any exponents. Do I have any multiplication or division? No. Do I have any addition or subtraction? I do have subtraction, so I need to subtract. I need to subtract first. I want to do 34 minus 6 first. When I do my math, I figured out that that's 28. And then I'm going to write down everything that I did not do. So I only did 34 minus 6 in my parentheses. Because I got a single value, I can get rid of my parentheses. Bring down my division symbol. Bring down my 7. Bring down my plus. And bring down my 3 to the second power. Once I am here, I need to treat this like a new expression again. I need to go back to my order of operations and see what math do I need to do next? What do I need to do next to continue solving this problem? Well, as I look at this, give me 1 second, move that out of the way. As I look at this, I'm going to ask myself again, in this expression, do I see any groupings? I don't. Do I see any exponents? Yes, I do. I need to do that next. I want to go ahead and circle to notify myself that that is what I'm doing. And then once again, we need to remember what an exponent is. An exponent is repeated multiplication. So I know that my base tells me the number that repeats, which is 3. My exponent tells me how many times it repeats, so it repeats twice. So this should be just 3 times 3, which we know equals 9. I want to rewrite my entire expression again for the things that I did not circle. I still have a plus sign. I still have a 7. I still have a division sign, and I still have a 28. Now I have a new expression to work with. I need to go back to my order of operations and determine what do I need to do next. In my new expression, do I see, and I'm talking about this expression down here, just so I can highlight it so you can see what I'm talking about. This expression down here. Do I see any groupings in this expression? I do not. Do I see any exponents? I do not. Do I see any multiplication or division? Oh, yes, I do. I see a division problem. I need to do that math next. Figured out 28 divided by 7 is 4. So now I have 4 plus 9 as the last thing. And at this point, you should realize that this is the only thing you need to do. You go ahead and do your math. But I want to go ahead and go back to my order of operations and make sure that that's the only thing I have to do. Do I see any groupings in this expression? 4 plus 9? No. Any exponents? I do not. Multiplication, division? Nope. Addition, subtraction? Yes. I want to do that. Circle it. 4 plus 9 is 13. There is my final answer, 13. It's important that we always try to figure out what math do I need to do. Once you do it, you need to follow your order of operations again to figure out what's the next thing you need to do. Let's go to the next one. So we have another practice here. I have 12, parentheses 12 minus 4 squared plus 20 divided by 5. Now, one thing I want you to realize is this square is attached to whatever my value is in this parentheses. Before we get into that, I want to go ahead and ask myself, looking at my expression, are there any groupings? Yes, there are. There are 2 groupings. I have one grouping here, and I have one grouping here. Because they're both groupings, I can do the math inside both of them at the same time. I don't have to worry about doing it at a different time. So I'm going to do 12 minus 4, which is 8. And don't forget, I'm going to bring down that squared. So it's 8 squared. I have 20 divided by 5, which is 4. So now I have, bring down the plus sign because I have not used that, 8 squared plus 4. This is a brand new expression that I need to refer back to my order of operations to determine What math do I need to do next? Do I need to get rid of my exponent, or do I need to add 8 plus 4? Well, let's find out. Is there any groupings in this expression? No, I got rid of both my groupings earlier on. Is there any exponents? Well, yes, there is. There's my exponent. I need to go ahead and work on that first. 8 squared, I know it represents not 8 times 2, but 8 times 8, which gives me 64. Bring down everything else I did not circle. 64 plus 4. And as we know, if this is the last thing I need to do, I can just do it, but I need to go back and just make sure that that's the last thing I need to do. Do I have any groupings? I do not. Any exponents? Nope. Multiplication or division? Definitely not. Addition or subtraction? Yep, there is an addition operation I want to do. 64 plus 4. Well, that will give me 68. Notice how many times, every time I figured out what I needed to do, I would refer back to my order of operations. After I solved it and rewrote it, I treated it as a new expression and then looked at my order of operations to determine what is the next thing I need to do. It's like a checklist, all right? Once you do your math, rewrite your expression, get a new expression, and then go to my checklist. Group, do I have any groupings? Yes or no? Exponents, yes or no? Multiplication, division, yes or no? Addition and subtraction, yes or no? And anytime you say yes, that's where you're gonna stop. You're gonna do the math where you circled it for whatever, whether it's a grouping, exponent, multiplication, division, or addition, subtraction operation, and then circle it, and then follow your steps again, like I did here. Okay, I need to do my 2 groupings. I did my 2 groupings, have a new expression, 8 squared plus 4, go back to my order of operations. What do I need to do next? I need to do the exponent next. Circled it, did my math, got 64, rewrote everything that I didn't use, 64 plus 4, go back to my order of operations, check again. Do I have any groupings? No. Exponents? No. Multiplication, division? No. Addition, subtraction? Yes, addition. Circle it, do my math. Okay, this is the process you need to take when we're doing our quiz today. As we know, quizzes are very important. All right, and then 2 more things to cover. One is substitution. And when I looked at your work, this was more a concern in terms of order of operation, not really that process. But know that when it means to substitute or evaluate, you're going to solve the expression. In this case, it's telling me what x is. X equals 5. I want to go back into the expression they gave me and replace all my x's with 5. When they say that x equals something, when the variable equals something, they're telling you you need to substitute that in your expression. So I want to rewrite it. We know that 3x means 3 times x. You can put the multiplication symbol, or you can just put a parentheses, which means the same thing. 3 times 5 minus parentheses 10 minus 2x, which just means 2 times 5 parentheses. All right. Once again, refer back to my order of operations. I have my expression all written out. I need to ask myself, do I see any groupings? I do. Here is my grouping. Once again, I'm going to treat my grouping on its own. I'm going to ignore everything that's boxed in. I'm just going to look at my grouping. I don't need to worry about anything else. Once you identify that you have a grouping, you need to treat what's in a grouping as an expression by itself. In my grouping, do I see any other groupings? No. This just means multiplication. Remember, it doesn't mean anything's grouped together. There's no math to do in this parentheses. Is there any exponents in this grouping? No, there's not. Is there any multiplication or division? Yes, there is. There's multiplication. So I want to multiply 2 times 5. Well, what is 2 times 5? That's 10. Go ahead and rewrite everything I did not circle. So I still have my parentheses because I still have math to do in there. And write everything else. I need to ask myself again, this is a brand new expression. I'm working with a brand new expression here. Is there any groupings? Yes, there is. I still have to get rid of this parentheses. Now I have 10 minus 10, which I know equals 0. Okay, so now I have 0. I want to rewrite everything else that I have. So I have 3 times 5 minus 0. Once again, brand new expression. Go back to my order of operations. Do I see any groupings here? No, this means multiplication. Exponents? No. Multiplication or division? Yes. I have a multiplication problem. I have 3 times 5. We know that 3 times 5 is 15. And all that I'm left with is 15 minus 0, and that's my last operation. You could refer back to your order of operations, but because I know this is the last thing I have to do, I'm going to go ahead and circle this. I have 15 minus 0, which means that my answer is just 15. All right, one more thing to cover. Once again, the important part about substituting is making sure that you are replacing your variable with the value it gives you. It told me that x equals 5, so I went ahead and replaced all my x's in my expression with the number 5. Keeping in mind that when I have a number next to my variable, that means multiplication. So when I rewrote it, I made sure to represent that part of my expression as multiplication. You could have rewritten this as 3 times 5 if you really wanted to. Either way matters as long as you know that that represents multiplication. And last but not least, we want to go ahead and use our understanding of expressions to write our expressions from either a real world problem or from an algebraic written expression. As you can see here, the main thing to do this correctly is to identify those action words, those words that tell you what operation you need to do. Because if you can figure that out, you will be able to figure out how to correctly write your expression. So here we go. The product of 8 and the sum of 3 and a number. So 2 things I already realized. I realized that my action word is product, which means multiplication, and sum, which means addition. Remember, product is multiplication, sum is addition, quotient is division, and difference or fewer than is subtraction. I know I need to multiply and add something. The problem will tell you what you're going to multiply. I need to multiply, because that's what product means. I need to multiply the 8 and what? So I need to multiply this number, the number 8, and this right here. So I need to multiply 8 times, the reason why it's parentheses is because I know I have to do an additional math here. So it's the product of 8 and then whatever my answer is here. But this tells me I have to do another operation to find out what that number is. And the sum of 3 and another. So the sum means addition. So I need to add 3. A number just means a variable. So I'm going to go ahead and put it as a variable. And here we go. The product, or when I multiply 8 and whatever I get when I add 3 plus my variable, is what exactly it's telling me. And here is the expression I want to be seeing. Sorry that it turned dark. But essentially, everything that we've done up to this point is your ability to understand how to, one, evaluate expressions, and then how to create your own expressions from a real world problem. So a lot of what we've done is really just getting you to that point. We learned about exponents because that's something new in terms of our order of operations. We use our order of operations to evaluate expressions. We use substitutions when they tell us that the value of the variable, we can plug it back in and use our order of operations to solve it. And the last thing that we were asked to do is to go ahead and take our understanding, apply it to real world problems or algebraic written expressions as you see here to create our own expressions. What all that would be left for this problem is for to say v equals 2 and then solve it. And which I could do here, replace once again my variable for my value. My value says v equals 2, so I'm going to change it to 2. Order of operations, any groupings? Yes, I see parentheses. I want to do what's inside first. I only have 3 plus 2. That means this is 5. 8 times 5 means my answer is 40. So, in a sense, that's what we're doing today. That's what we will be assessing today in your quiz. Remember, just try your best. We will be seeing to see how much you understand so we can really make some interventions and really help you better understand all the content that we're learning in Unit 3. So, best of luck, Kipsters, and I will see you in class.